This is everything I take on a worldwide commercial ad campaign. What I'm going to do here is go through bag by bag what comes with us. Now, this is obviously a fraction of the kit on a worldwide campaign. I've not unpacked this stuff since getting back intentionally because I wanted to show you lot, but the rest of it, the full kit and caboodle, all of that stuff, all the rental gear, all the nerdy techie stuff, that'll be on the Patreon because it's not what most people are interested in. But this stuff here, this is my camera gear. So let's go through this. We'll take it a bag at a time. I'm going to tell you what's in it and why it's there. So let's start at the very beginning. This is my camera body. You'll notice everything I have has yellow tape on it. And there's a really good reason for that. Every single item on a shoot will come from like 3 different rental houses, assistance kit, digi kit, my kit, it's chaos. But in here, we have my camera. This is my Cambo bellow system, nicely stored away, kept nice and safe. This is what I like to shoot on. So this is the main camera body, but obviously there's more to this. In Peli case number 2, main camera and bellows, as you can imagine, this is the most important bag. This is the bag that gets the job done. In here I've got my 2 lenses, 90, 50, 2 identical Canon 5 DSRs, yep, that's what we shoot worldwide ad campaigns on. The only time we don't use those is if we're using a phase 1, but for this job, this was the right tool for the job. Lens hoods. The bellows for my camera, because they won't go in a Peli case with foam cutouts nicely without getting damaged. 2 D-tap batteries. These last 2 days each, so in here I've got 4 days of power. All the chargers, gubbins, and the adapter batteries for the Canons to work on the V-mount. 2 color charts. 1 monitor calibrator, all by X-Rite. The good old blowy rocket duster thing which everyone needs to have in their bag. And a Cambo ball head as a backup head. Up in the top here, we've got some mounts to hold V-mount batteries, some AA's, AAA's, bungee cords, generic trigger sets, the ones that just work on any type of flash and camera. These are like the idiot proof if the rental stuff doesn't work. And in here, we've just got some standard Canon batteries in case, for whatever reason, V-mount lets us down. Now, just to give you a bit of the why we're using this, because this is quite antiquated equipment. These cameras are old, I've had them for years, but there's a good reason for it. So if we take the absolute best camera for this shoot, it'd be a phase 1. It's got a really big sensor, 6 by 4.5. The depth of field we'd achieve would be minuscule. We'd have to focus stack for days in this particular job. Sometimes for flat lay, we'd be like, yeah, phase 1 it up, but this was not that. Having a small sensor, like a 35mm sensor, allows you to get a greater depth of field, and 50 megapixels is big enough for anything. There's nothing that needs more than 50 unless you're cropping horrendously, which we don't. This 90mm Mamiya Secor lens is as sharp as you can get. Like, there's nothing better. That won't, like, people will claim it's better, but to the eye on print, you cannot see better. This, combined with my Cambo Actus, which is my like bellow system that I use, gives me optimal flexibility. I can achieve great depth of field. I can get great resolution, and tethering is stable. Before we dive too deep into it, if you have questions about the kit we take or rent on commercial jobs, let me know in the comments below. So we recently used the Fuji GFX system, and tethering on that is an absolute nightmare. It was chaos. This just works. We were tethered for 4 days and it didn't drop out. We actually had 3 cameras tethered into the same computer at one point and it didn't drop out. No files were lost, no downtime, no restarting. It just worked. Now we're tethering into Capture One, which helps a lot. We're using Area 51 cables, which also helps a lot, but that matters. If we were using the Fuji cameras, because they've got slightly smaller sensors to get a bit more depth of field on the Cambo, we'd have lost maybe an hour and a half of shooting just in downtime for tethering. If we'd have used the phase, we'd have probably added 2 days of shooting for all the focus stacking. But being able to do this on the Cambo meant we could do it quickly, and that's important as well. Also, if we'd have used the phase on the Cambo, because of the big sensor and everything else, the depth of field is so small, the focusing takes so much longer, and would still probably end up doing some form of focus stacking to get the look we were after. Even with this, 3 images we had to focus stack. You know, that's not ideal for the time that we're trying to shoot. All shoots nowadays are just balls to the wall, flat out. And this allowed us to do that. Having 3 of them meant we'd got 2 sets running at any one time and another one being used as 1 to scope stuff and 2 as redundancy. So we had plenty of like room for error. If one had gone down, we bought the spare and would have had another camera shipped over. These are still in every rental house and it's for very good reason. They are super robust, super reliable, and you can't get better image quality without jumping to Phase or Hasselblad, or Fuji, of course. But it's just the best for what I do. Different genres, different kit required, but for studio work, these are just the best image quality to versatility to usability as far as I'm concerned. And of course, if I wanted different cameras, I could get different cameras. I'm not endorsed by Canon, obviously. They don't want anyone to be endorsing DSLRs and they're trying to flog mirrorless. I can use any camera system I want. I choose to use this one. Now lens-wise, we just took 2 for the main camera, a 90 and a 50. They're the only 2 I own. This is flat, this gives distortion. This looks a bit way heroic, this one's really flat. Do I want heroic and drama or flat? That's the choice, they're the lenses. Nice and simple. In the other bag we had additionals, but really, if you think about it, 24-105 was the scoping lens, 35 was my behind the scene lens. I said 2 100mm lenses, which are the same as the 90, and I don't know if you know this, put 5 100mm lenses next to each other, they're not all 100mm. So the 90 is actually slightly tighter than one of my 100 lenses, but you know, they're close enough. And again, if the Cambo had have failed, we'd have been in a bit of a pickle, but it's a mechanical piece of kit. There's not really anything to go wrong on it. There was a rental house nearby to ship another one out, and we'd have focus stacked on the 100mm Zeiss Milvus in the meantime. We actually ended up using the Zeiss Milvus on one set that was straight on, and the 90mm on the other. We then used these color charts to correct the color cast from the lenses so they looked identical. You would not know which was shot on which. There's no way of telling. I can't even tell you now, having done the shoot, if I see the images side by side. There's no way. This is mostly what we use, but there's a lot more, and this is the important stuff coming up. So this is a Think Tank Airport. This is my personal grip case. Now the assistant has their own, but this is mine. In here we have extremely strong painkillers, paracetamol, a knife, all the weird screw adapters, a PC sync cable, which is a very expensive one because they're good. The original instructions for the Canon 5 DSR system, just in case. Some spare batteries down at the bottom, another rocket blower. Every bag has Sharpie pens with yellow tape on so I can find them. And a tape measure, because you need one every time. Although this one seems to have seen better days. And again, yellow tape. 4 of these, of course, we've rented them. The assistant turns up with them as well, but you know, 4 super clamps. A load of tether cable junctions so they don't get pulled apart. The big bag of cables, every USB cable you could possibly need in here. And in the bottom bit here, chargers. Just standard Canon chargers, DTAP chargers, and a charger for my other camera, which we'll get to in a bit. In the front of the flip lid, we've just got an Area 51 tether cable. And again, the assistant, Digitech, and everyone bring those anyway. Everyone has tether cables to hand. And because the 5 DSR is still such a mainstream camera in our industry, every Digitech has the digital cable for it. It's great. Okay, let's open up this one. This is the backup cameras. So in here, we'll start in the main bit. We've got 2 more DTAP batteries. We've got another 5 DSR, and I've then got my behind the scenes camera. And that is this one here, my 1DS Mark II that I recently bought, my dream camera that I could never afford, but now I can because it's £170. Behind the scenes images banging from this one. My main tripod head, it's a geared one, it's not particularly good, it's just a Manfrotto Junior. We normally rent like an Arca Cube, I think it's called, but it's got the Arca twist plate on the top, just adapted onto this. Does the job, pretty cheap to buy, get these for like 150 quid. Canon lenses. So we've got the main one that we used on this shoot, Zeiss Milvus 100mm. When we're shooting straight on, we don't bother with the Cambo, it's quicker and easier. Just to grab this one here, chuck it on the front, and shoot completely straight on. Obviously it's an angle, we want the cambo, but again, look, yellow tape, yellow tape, yellow tape. It means when we come to pack down at the end of the day, super easy. Is it mine? We don't know. Yellow tape goes in the bag. Should probably start taking some yellow stickers and just like stickering up stuff I like. This is a backup 100mm lens because we shoot on 100mm or 90 for everything. So this is just the Canon Gold Ring. Nothing wrong with this lens. This lens is 99% as good as the Zeiss Milvus, just not 100% as good. I've shot worldwide campaigns for major brands on this lens. No one can tell the difference. We've then got my new lens, a 24-105, and this lens here we use for one of our assistants to be setting up the next set whilst we're shooting the previous one. So they've got the backup camera body, they've got the 24-105, a spare laptop tethered up, and they could start setting things up, or at least that was the plan at the start. Doesn't always go to plan. And my trusty 35 1.4 Degamo 1DS Mark II, this is my behind the scenes storytelling lens. Doesn't matter how dark it is, a 1.4 will get the job done, even on an antique camera. Up in the lid, CF cards, some tools, batteries for everything, polarizing filter and step adapters for the lenses. And in here I've got an intervalometer and some other step rings, air tags on every bag just in case it ends up in one of the many rental vans and we don't know which one we can go, oh, it's heading to Luton, it's gone to that place. In here we have 4 Area 51 tether cables. These are called dirty riggers. It's a little thing, all your different proper gaff tapes so they don't destroy the floor. A laptop stand, again, colour tapes. My RoboCup, like to have this around. The base stand of a C stand, so just open this up here. And basically, C stand, this RoboCup. I've got myself a little tether station, a couple of iPads around. Does a great job for me. So generally speaking, that stand there, it means that I don't have to be next to the Digi. The Digi can be over there. I can have mine, I take another one for the client, and we can all keep out of each other's hair and hopefully not fall out. Lint roller, just because never know. This is the Nitecore Cinewind. They sent it to me. I said, no, I won't make a review on it. Why would you need one? It has two purposes. I give it credit. One is when it's a hot, sweaty mess in a studio like this one is at the moment, cools you down really well. And the other one is you can dry paint on set building. So this comes with us for when we have to paint a set and dry it. It is so loud, you wouldn't want to use it for a shoot. Polarizing gels for the lights, so I can cross-polarize with my polarizers. Very good. And as you know, spirit level, laser level, very important bits of kit. Super arm with a couple of Manfrotto super clamps. It's like a bag of tricks in here. What else we got? Baby plates, which we used. Bit of codeine. Atmosphere spray that we didn't end up needing, but we might have done. K-line. We use this, semi-matte. Actually feeling a bit light, I should order some more after this video. Handful of power strips. Tape measures. Mirrors, of which I've lost one, but we use these. Got 3 of these in there. Very good for just like getting that bit of light and just bouncing it around or shooting a light into when you don't have enough powerful lights, which was the case on this. One of these little sets of screws, all the different quarter, third, half-inch adapter things, really useful to have. And then of course, Sharpie with the tape. So this is what I took. And let me be really clear, I was only to bring the camera. That was my job, and this is the camera. This is what you need for the camera. This is what I take on most shoots. Lighting, computers, trolleys, grips, stands, that all comes from different places. That's all over on the Patreon. I'll pop a link below somewhere, but this is what I take. It's not expensive. In the grand scheme of things, if you add it up, we've got what, 3 cameras, a Cambo, the lenses, it's like 7 to 10 grand in that bag. That's it. It's not a huge amount of money. but it's incredibly good. Now with all the extra gubbins, yes, it adds up quite quickly. It's like super clamps are really expensive when you've got 10 with you. You know, it's the little things. Tether cables are a couple of hundred each and I've got loads of them. It does add up, but if you look at the bare bones of it, 3 cameras, 3 key lenses, you're still looking around 10,000, which coincidentally is about the price of a new Fuji medium format body. Obviously, this is one of the reasons why we shoot with this system, because it's good enough, absolutely good enough to get the job done. These images will be printed around the world. They were shot for a brand that you've all bought, guarantee it. It is a huge rebrand, it's a huge campaign. I can't show you any of it for now. I will on the Patreon in the future. But we shot it on a humble kit. It's all about the lighting skills and understanding the style. That's what makes the difference. Thanks for watching this. It is much appreciated. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.